So he died because he either would not fight back or could not fight back.
Where the kicks at? Where the hands? Where the holes? Where the throws? You know what I'm saying? Cecil.
So according to a local news story, it's possible that a special needs student at Ballou High School in Washington, D.C., around the beginning of 2018, maybe the end of 2017, was actually technically beaten to death, and the students chose him because they knew he was an easy target. He had gotten beaten really bad in a fight, and he had to go back and forth to the hospital based on injuries from the fight, and he's finally passed away. My condolences to his family. I'm going to play a little bit of the news clip where they're talking about the story, and I mean very little because I don't want to just grab the whole thing. But if something doesn't convince you that this is a good reason why you need to take martial arts class, nothing else will.
A DC high school student with special needs died in the hospital yesterday, 3 weeks after he was attacked inside a classroom. The student's family says they took him to the hospital after that attack, but so far police have not connected his death with what happened at the school. DCW 50's Kelly Rule joins us live outside of Ballou High School with more on the story for us tonight. Kelly?
Candace, Javon Smith-Patterson's older sister telling me tonight he had to go to the hospital twice since this attack, and the second time he never returned home. Now, for legal reasons, she tells me she couldn't do an on-camera interview tonight, but she says the family believes the same students behind this attack also bullied him for quite some time for no good reason other than the fact that he wouldn't defend himself.
Even if the person is special needs, a special needs person can still learn how to defend themselves. They can learn martial arts. I've trained quite a few special needs people in my blending of Taekwondo with sprinkles of judo and a little bit of boxing.
Students leave school Tuesday afternoon from Ballou High School, learning that one of their classmates, Javon Smith-Patterson, won't be back, weeks after DC police say 2 students attacked him behind school walls.
That's not even a fight, really. That should be assault. That's 2 people attacking him. That was 2 fully able-bodied students, and assumed to be 2 mentally functional students that attacked that one individual who was special needs, who was already at a disadvantage. I don't know why they didn't just get in trouble with the law from that right there, right off.
I felt that was like very irresponsible because him being in special ed, he should not have been unattended.
According to a DC police report back on January 10th, while in a Ballou High School classroom, 2 classmates approached the student and hit him several times in the face and on his body because he wouldn't let them use his cell phone. Okay, so now it's all right to beat someone up because they won't let you use their cell phone, right? I mean, we know this is the behavior of people who are criminal and predatory, but it looks like nobody was trying to protect that young man that passed away whatsoever. So even though it's really not his responsibility to protect himself going to school, given his condition, you're going to have to enable him to protect himself as best he can, because you obviously cannot count on police or security to do something, or anybody who's sitting around who are the regular people who's supposed to be looking out for each other. They're not. They don't have any duty to protect each other or any concern to protect each other, even if they don't have to do it legally. So they're going to just, be sheep for the wolves to come in and do something to. Now, I'm not going to sit up here and lie and say that if I was a student there when I was that age, if I may have done anything differently, if I might not have just sat there and let it happen. Because let me tell you something, as somebody who tends to fight back against stuff, you get tired after a while. You get tired. That's why we need police officers. We need security personnel. We need for authority figures to do their job. Remember, I got picked on so much when I was I guess you would call it elementary school. I hit so many bullies back that I had trouble closing my hand. I was having trouble holding a pen because my hand was getting sore and weak from punching people in their face and in their head who were picking on me. So I had to eventually learn how to de-escalate and how to ignore people, or else I literally was not going to get an education. And that was a Catholic school. Now, was that my fault? No. Was the Catholic school in the wrong? I'm afraid to say, yes, they were in the wrong. But that's reality and that's life. So if you got somebody that you know is going to be a target for whatever reason, especially if they're a special needs person,
Please put them in a martial arts class.
His sister says her younger brother, in class with Jovan, witnessed the attack, which included the students stomping and beating Jovan, and they believe more than 2 students got involved. She says he spit up blood when he got home and spent most of the month in the hospital following the attack.
Now again, police still waiting from the Office of the Chief Medical Examiner to determine the cause and manner of his death, and at this time they don't know if that attack officially contributed to his death. They also haven't arrested anyone for the reported attack. Now, we did reach out to DC Public Schools for an official statement. They just referred us to police, but in that letter sent home, they did say that they have a crisis response team working with students and staff and will provide additional resources for anyone struggling with this tragedy.
I don't think Ballou is near the area for the community center that I use, but there are plenty of other schools in the DC area where they can teach you to defend yourself. I think what those students need in there is for someone to arrest the people who beat that young man to death over a cell phone, assuming that the attack contributed to his injuries. And again, I don't know why they weren't arrested just on the strength of him having to cough up blood after being attacked by 2, maybe possibly 3 people. Now, I would say this. Before, I have fought 2 people before. You can take martial arts up, you can fight 2 people, you're probably still going to get some injuries. But I bet you if you take some martial arts up and you fight 2 people, you may get some injuries, but you may survive. Surviving is better than eventually succumbing to the injury. So it does make a difference if you fight back. I think some of you folks, and of course I'm not talking to my dedicated viewers, you know who I'm talking about. Some of you folks who want to act like martial arts are phony, martial arts don't work. You think it's supposed to be like in a kung fu movie where people attack you and you return totally unscathed. It takes years, nay I say decades to get to that point. You have to extremely outclass the people that are attacking you. But I say a black eye is better than death. So just because you get attacked by a few people and they get a few licks in and you get a few licks in on each and every one of them, to me that's a victory, because a victory should be being alive and not just getting some kind of trophy or being able to perform magical moves where they're all laying on the floor and you barely broken a sweat. But here again, I will say that is possible. That can happen if you are just that good. But I'm going for survival and I'm going for avoidance of long-term injury. And I don't know of a martial arts style that cannot do that. And I know that mine certainly can. So thank you for watching. Like, comment, and subscribe. Please give your prayers and some concern and support to the family of this young man, because this is so ridiculous. I ain't even want to do a video on it, but I said I am. I want to speak my piece on this one. We have got to do better in this world, and we've got to stop letting people run amok. And this is to the normal people out there, majority people. If you feel like that nobody's helping you, maybe people who are prone to help or prone to fight back are getting tired, like I did at one point. You're tired of being the only person swinging back. So we who outnumber the bad elements, all of us need to do something about what's going on. Peace.